Hi, everybody, and welcome to Mindfulness with Paul Sugar. Today, we're going to spend some time practicing mindfulness, and then we'll also have some time at the end to address some questions and comments. Let's start with just a brief 1-minute mindful breath. And so finding a comfortable position, whether you're sitting or standing or laying down, just finding a comfortable position. And you can do this mindful breath either with your eyes open or your eyes closed or just gazing down, whatever works best for you. And then starting by bringing the attention to the breath. And with mindfulness, we breathe in and out through the nose. So breathing in and out through the nose, we do that because we've discovered through research that nose breathing helps to keep us in a level, stressless state, and actually reduces stress, keeps the autonomic nervous system in balance. So noticing the breath, maybe noticing the movement of the belly, the lower abdomen, that area below the belly button. Just breathing naturally, keeping the attention right here with the breath. And then also noticing when the attention wanders. And if it wanders, just noticing where it goes to. Maybe it goes to a thought or an emotion or a physical sensation. And then bringing it back to the breath. That attention wandering and then bringing it back, that's an important part of the practice. Every time you bring the attention back, you're building up that mindful muscle. So breathing. In and out through the nose. And then opening the eyes. And so what we see is that mindfulness is the ability to pay attention moment by moment on purpose, but in a very particular way. What we pay attention to in mindfulness is the breath, as we've just done, the body, its physical sensations and 5 senses, thoughts and emotions. So why do we pay attention to those things in particular? Well, in the world of stress, what we notice is, more so nowadays, perhaps than ever, is we notice that people go into the stress cycle and they get stuck there. And so when they get stuck in the stress cycle, what happens is we disconnect. We're hardwired to be able to disconnect from the body during extreme stress. It's a very important protective mechanism. Keeps us from having to experience extreme situations and protects us that way. But what we found through the research over the past 30 years is that many of us, to varying degrees, get stuck in this stress mode, stuck in fight or flight. And so in getting stuck with this fight or flight situation, then it stands to reason that we're also getting stuck being connected, being disconnected. And so what have we disconnected from? Well, we've disconnected from the body, the thoughts, the emotions, and the breath. Those are basically the 4 things that we have to disconnect from. And so at that point, it's as if the body can sense when we're disconnected. And when it senses that, it keeps us stuck in the stress mode, stuck in the fight or flight mode. So it becomes a catch-22 situation. And so what we need to do is take proactive steps to reconnect to those things that we've disconnected from, because it doesn't happen automatically. So we have to be proactive about it. And that's where mindfulness comes in. And as you remember, what I just said a minute ago is the 4 things that we pay attention to in mindfulness is the body, thoughts, the emotions, and the breath. So those are the same 4 things that we disconnect from when we get stuck in that fight or flight stress mode. And so by practicing that reconnection through the ability to focus the attention, we're able to then reconnect to the body, which is the doorway into the present moment. And then once again, it's as if the body can sense when we're reconnecting. And when it senses that we're reconnecting, it figures there's no more danger out there. And so it shifts that autonomic nervous system out of fight or flight, out of the stress mode, and begins to normalize all the different systems. The autonomic nervous system, of course, is connected to everything in the body. Everything in the body is interconnected. But the autonomic nervous system is really the master switch. And that's what regulates our ability to go in and out of fight or flight. So in a nutshell, that's what mindfulness is. It's the ability to pay attention moment by moment on purpose to the body, the thoughts, the emotions, and the breath. The reason that we do it is so that we can reconnect when we've been disconnected. And so that's why we do it, and that's how we do it. And the how is by reconnecting, which then takes us out of the fight or flight mode and back into, as we say, homeostasis, back into balance, where the systems then begin to resync up and achieve that balanced state. So let's put that into action, that knowledge of what mindfulness is, how it works, and why it works. It's got well over 3,000 studies behind it at this point, and the studies are growing exponentially. The studies really attest to the efficacy of mindfulness and how it relates to stress. And of course, stress relates to all things physical, mental, and emotional in our lives. So we want to be able to keep that in balance. So let's do another mindful breath together. This time we'll make it a bit longer instead of a minute. Let's go maybe 6 or 7 minutes. And then after that, we could spend some time if you'd like to message me on the chat center. I'd be happy to look at the comments and the questions, and we could talk about those. So coming back to that comfortable position, and either with the eyes open, eyes closed, or just looking down, and bringing the attention to the breath. And breathing. Keeping the attention with the breath as we breathe in and out through the nose. Just embodying that sense of alert attention, and also self-acceptance, just accepting who we are in this moment as we fully experience the breath. Perhaps noticing that lower abdomen area, the rising and the falling with each in-breath and out-breath. And if it's helpful, every once in a while, you can say to yourself silently, breathing, if that helps to keep you with the breath. And noticing when the attention wanders, where does it wander to? Does it go to a physical sensation, or maybe a thought, or maybe an emotion? And then bringing it back to the breath. breathing. Noticing the in-breath, and then there's a short pause, and then the out-breath. Just breathing naturally, just letting the breath assume its natural rhythm. And bringing the attention back whenever it wanders, knowing that that's a very important part of the mindfulness practice. Noticing when the attention wanders and bringing it back. Once again, building up the mindful muscle that way. Staying with the breath. And just using the breath as our contact point to the body, as our contact point to the present moment experience. Breathing, just breathing naturally. Staying with the breath. If your eyes are closed, let's open them now. I like to finish each mindfulness meditation with the eyes open. It helps to build the bridge between that formal practice of mindfulness meditation and bringing mindfulness into everyday activity. The same things that we practice in mindfulness meditation are the same things that we practice during our daily lives, whether we're walking or communicating or eating a meal, washing the dishes, whatever. So we want to have that seamless transition from meditation into everyday life. That's why I like to keep those eyes open as we finish up a meditation. So a few more seconds, staying with the breath, meditation breath, but with the eyes open. Eyes are open. And breathing. All right, excellent. So that's our mindful breath. The breath is a real core practice in mindfulness. It's something that's real easy to come back to, whether we're in meditation or whether we're in daily activity. So now, if there's any comments or questions, if you'd like to send a message, I'd be happy to take a look at that and address those comments and questions. All right, so let's finish up the session with one of my favorite mindfulness practices. And before we do that, I'd like to remind everybody that I'll be here doing the mindfulness practice every Tuesday and Thursday at 4 o'clock Arizona time. All right, before we get to that last practice, I do have a question. Are there techniques one can do when facing fear out and about? Well, I find that the most effective thing when I'm facing fear out and about is to just come to the breath. It's remarkable how quickly it shifts our experience. If you're breathing in and out through the nose and bringing that mindful attention to the breath, it can shift you right out of that fear mode. And of course, as you continue to practice on a regular basis, it's going to retrain your nervous system so that you don't go into that fear mode as easily, and you go into it only when appropriate. But when it happens in the moment, out there in daily activity, just come to the breath, breathe in and out through the nose, keep your attention right there with the experience, and it should help to mitigate that fear. So let's finish up with the mindful smile, something that I like to do. There's a lot of research behind the benefits of smiling, all the endorphins that it releases, particularly if you don't feel like smiling. Just smiling anyway, all those muscles get activated around the mouth. And then bringing mindfulness to the smile makes it even more effective. So let's finish with 15 seconds of a mindful smile. And smiling, keeping the attention with the body, with the smile. Just staying with that smile. Focus the attention on what's happening with the body as we're smiling. And that's it. So I look forward to seeing you every Tuesday and Thursday, 4 p.m. Arizona time, and have a great mindful day. See you next time.